Hey, good morning, YouTube. What's going on out there today? Is everybody having a good middle day of the week? That's where we're kind of situated right now. So we finally got our view back of our weather map that's been gone for over a week now. Give everybody another live look in at what's going on in your area. Looks like Iowa's got quite the weather going on there. So I'm sure that's tornado concern at some point. But it looks like the hurricane has pretty much died out. Tropical depression, tropical storm, it's dissipated, but not without lots of rain. Plenty of rain. Wish they had a temperature. They don't have a temperature map. They don't put up that you can get to easily, at least. We have to start showing that transition to the fall temperatures. We're definitely getting there here, which is good. At least I think so. All right, in the side chat, we got Smolo, Smoking Locust. How you doing this morning? And Truth Freeze, good morning. Truth, death toll in North Carolina is now 33. Yeah, I think the total's over 50 for the storm, I believe. That's one of the stories I got pulled up here. I was going to look into here shortly. They're reporting the death toll and climbing quite quickly, it looks like, as they get into some areas after the storm. So other than the middle of the country, you might be able to dry out. I know the floodwaters in North Carolina down on the Cape Fear River was supposed to peak today, so they still got a lot to deal with down there before they can dry everything out and see what can be recovered or maintained. Looking pretty rough. So looking into that, here's the Weather Channel's most recent. Says here, death toll rises to 37. Truth, so at least that says in the Carolinas and Virginia is 37. So that must be. I thought it would over 50. We'll see if they combine it with anything else. Let's see what they got to say here, though.
Flooded out roads in Quincy, Mass. From the remnants of Florence, this certainly has been a rainmaker of a storm, and that's meager amounts, what we've seen up through New England. Now, the worst of it has been back through the Carolinas. Long-lasting impacts here with flooding, where we've had over 30, 40 inches of rain. So these river flood warnings, this is going to last through the weekend and into next week. We're still seeing a lot of them. And checking out some of the river gauges, the highest, one of the highest that we've seen, Little River, this is at Manchester. Now, this has crested at record level, and it's going to begin to fall not until Friday. So this means we're still dealing with evacuations, a lot of flooded out homes. Now, the Cape Fear River, that's a close one that we're watching. It hasn't reached record level, but look at it there. It's close to 70 feet. So that is enough to flood homes, which means people are going to have to be on high alert for this. Now, this begins to fall by Friday as well and into the weekend.
All right, so there's that update. Just looking on down the article, though, it says, say, 37 at least killed in Carolinas and Virginia. I'm sure that number will grow as the waters recede, and they actually get into places they couldn't get into before and whatnot. So it could become an ugly picture moving forward. So the breakdown here is 27 deaths in North Carolina, 8 in South Carolina, 2 in Virginia. They're telling everybody to stay away if you're don't try to come home now. That's definitely one of the big messages for at least Eastern North Carolina. They don't want people trying to come back into an area that's not safe, and pretty much they can't get home anyway. They were showing the pictures of that I-40 flooding, and pretty much everybody outside the state Drive around through Tennessee. Don't drive through North Carolina because you can't get through there without severe hazard. So please drive around on your way to Florida, which is what everybody wishes they would do anyway. Hey, good morning, Crazy Scotsman. What's going on? You're the most chattingest person I've seen in a long time, Scotsman. You were on Phil's chat yesterday. You were in the side chat of another one. Just rocking and rolling. So one of the big ones is the toxic waste threat coming out of this whole thing. There's the coal ash, the pig farm sewage. That's a big concern here. It says it's estimated that the floodwaters killed about 3.4 million chickens and turkeys on poultry farms. More than 5 million gallons of partially treated sewage spilled into the Cape Fear River after the power went out at a treatment plant. And an earthen dam of a pond holding hog waste was breached, spilling its contents. That's all going to be talk about, bad stuff going on there. Floodwaters you don't want to get into. You're going to get some kind of disease. You get into some of that. Yeah, truth. 22 billion is the damage estimate right now. That seems low. I would think that would go up quite quickly. 22 billion just doesn't seem. When you look at the road damage that they haven't seen yet, it's bound to go up. I mean, a section of road, like a mile road, is like $1 million. Or a mile of interstate, I guess you'd say. There, stay away, stay around, go drive around. Take I-75 through Georgia and Tennessee. There's some continue to flood videos. You can see, where does all the water go? You can see how high that is. See if we can get a close up. On Sunday, still in the middle of the storm, that bridge is a good, 50-foot plus clearance? Probably that's over the river, it looks like, a railroad bridge. And here the water's up that high. Like, where does it all go? Unreal. Yeah, and one of the big questions is, what about the nuclear power plants? It's been a big concern since the storm started. How is this flooding? Because most of the power plants out there in Eastern Carolina are next to rivers because they use that water for cooling in cooling ponds nearby. I don't know if a power plant has a 70-foot wall to hold back some of these floodwaters. They don't seem to address it here. And I haven't seen any pictures of any of the power plants. And there's like a half dozen of them in play. So they got a 711 picture gallery here. That's probably going to have some pretty good pictures as they catch up. Yeah, how much toxic brew truth? It's a concern for sure. Hey, Phil M. Rivers is with us. Good morning, Phil. Anybody doesn't know, Phil's doing a 500 subscriber giveaway. Go check him out. And Phil won the Cobra Burnouts giveaway last night too. You're just racking it up, Phil. You're having a good month on YouTube. That was a pretty cool contest by the Cobra Burnout. talking about classic ARs. That was quite the event. So tons of pictures in there to go check out. But the toll is going to be probably far above what people estimate at this point, when you consider they're just now getting to flood stage on some of these rivers. So that's the good news there. Well, I wouldn't say that, but it's is what it is. Hey, good morning, Alicia. What's going on? I'm negligent in watching your last video on the pedo propaganda. I got to catch up on that. But really, most of the propaganda coming out that I've seen is this whole DC debacle judge confirmation hearing sideshow that's been going on. It's like sucking up everybody's focus. It's like, if you don't think it's a sideshow when they bring out 30-year-old accusations, you really are easily distracted. We talked about the budget process yesterday, and the continuing resolution during the lunchtime chat, where they have pushed through that continuing resolution through the Senate, going to the House, but you won't see that anywhere. People talking about the incessant debt that we're getting into. I didn't even see it as a link on Drudge. It's not even a flash in the pan. So that tells me they're getting it under the radar while they can. If people were up in arms as much about that as they were about this supposed judge, we'd be a lot better off. But alas, people would rather dig up dirt on somebody who should have very little effect on their life and make them out to be a greater cause than it should be. That's probably the biggest problem. Supreme Court judges have far too impact on our lives when they're supposed to be very limited in their scope, but they've created their own hierarchy and empire, if you will. So saw this pop up on the Drudge this morning, though. Article out of South Africa. Just trying to put yourself in a Boer's situation right now when you've got the opposition. This would be like, not Nancy Pelosi, but trying to think what this would be an example of. This would be like, I don't even know who any far left leaders are that aren't actually politicians. I guess I would say Sean King, but he's white. Yeah, it seems like all the leaders on the far left that think they're black are actually white, right? Or they think they're Indian, they're white, et cetera, et cetera. But this story came out of South Africa. The Citizen News: White existence is a crime, says the BLF spokesperson. I guess it's not a spokesman. I guess they're being very politically correct even in South Africa. Seems to be a spokesman. But what is the BLF? Black First, Land First spokesperson Lindsay Mastrup has told the author of this article and others about the controversial party that my existence is a crime. So I guess it's an actual party leader. And so this is this is from yesterday. It's Monday afternoon out of South Africa. But that's the agenda they're pushing. We've seen the pictures of the communists in the cities protesting and having rallies saying, kill the Boers. Now that it's going to outlaw their existence. The party's belief that all white people in South Africa are criminals, and they wonder who's committing all these crimes and attacks when you convince a whole party that these people are criminals, then it makes it easy to go out and attack them, right? The dehumanization of the whole thing is just good communist progress right there. So I guess he's on Twitter, this Lindsay Masterdorp person. I guess he's not guilty of any Twitter violations, or he doesn't go against Twitter's terms of service. He doesn't have a blue check mark, it doesn't look like, so that's a good, I guess he hasn't reached the big time yet. Your existence is a crime, hence we say land or death. So he's making death threats on Twitter, but he's not banned. I'm sure if one of us was to say that, we'd get found out pretty quick. Well, maybe not one of us because we're pretty small time, but if the crazy Scotsman was to tweet that, he'd get banned. You know what I'm saying? Promote. What you allow is what you promote. You know what I'm saying? So I guess this lady did this article, and this guy called her out on Twitter, and they're having this back and forth. But anyway, just some more information out of South Africa is that it's probably only going to get worse. There was follow Ian Cameron was one of the main guys. There's a new Twitter guy I found out of South Africa that's covering a lot of the issues. What is his name? I just had it up last night. And seemed like a pretty good reference. He's also on YouTube. I followed his YouTube channel. That'd probably be the easier way to find him. Scotsman, you'd get deported if you were to tweet that, right? Yeah, if we were to make such statements, we'd probably be disowned and kicked out of the country, right? For hate speech or something crazy. Hey, Fractional Truth, good morning. Well, many of the blacks in South Africa are not indigenous to South Africa. That's been well documented. The Boers actually have a fairly good relationship with the actual indigenous tribes, at least in the western part of the country, and had formed a coalition at the beginning of this mess with them. The eastern one, the Johannesburg area, I guess you would say, blacks came in from the north. Yeah, exactly. But they consider themselves indigenous to Africa, so all of Africa is theirs. It's kind of one of those things, you know. But I don't know. I can't remember that fella's name that I just subbed on YouTube. Just saw his video yesterday. I posted it on the G Plus. But he's doing, I guess you'd say, controversial videos. Lots of comments about having to parse his words to avoid getting banned, as you could imagine. Yeah, so this is the video. I'll pull it over here just so I'll share the link out there so everybody
this video
has this.
In the norm.
Willem Petzer is his name. I just found it through a share on the YouTube. But here he's talking about the farm attacks from the last couple days in this, and seems to be quite level-headed. Definitely puts it out, puts it out there in an even kill fashion. He's not a bomb thrower or nothing. He's not an Alex Jones. Let's put it that way. And he's also on Twitter. So something to go check out to follow if you want to follow the South Africa debacle. And the warnings that they give the world on if it's happening here, it's going to happen where you are. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that black-white thing, but it's definitely the communist versus the rest of us thing. Does he show images and stuff? I can't remember if he goes into articles and stuff about the stuff in South Africa. So that's worth checking out there. I'll put it in the comment and in the side chat there too. Hey, Red October, what's going on? Good morning. Work hard. Get to earn those taxes for Tommy Boy, as he says. Somebody's got to pay his Social Security. And I think Red even did a video about that a while back, didn't you? About, you don't have a problem working for people that earn their Social Security and stuff. Like, it's a situation we're in. It's a tough spot we're in for sure. So that's South Africa. Looking at our other place of collapse, Venezuela. After he returned from China, I guess he had a celebrity chef come and fix him dinner. The images were quite stark, I guess you'd say. So I guess the famous guy who did the Salt Bay trend, as you see the famous meme and everything, is the guy. And I guess the guy was a former supporter also of Cuba and the regime there. And I guess he went down to go down to cook for Maduro. So that just show you that rich socialists have no problems. Rich socialists live quite well. They have celebrity chefs and everything. But the people are starving. I can't believe this guy's not been sacked or ran out of office yet. Stuff like that going around. So I guess he stopped in Turkey, and that's where that actually happened. So you got this chef flying around the world, and I guess it occurred in Turkey, and now he's trying to defend it and whatnot. But he's accusing the United States, Colombia, and international media organizations of trying to topple his socialist administration. This is out of the Miami Herald, which I guess you'd say it's one of the few papers that actually takes on the communists because of the tie to Cuba and the Cuban population there in South Florida. If Angel can verify, but I mean, it's not all the time bashing the socialists, but they do have their writers that do address it. And as we talked about the other day, when he returned as well, is China seems to be getting a foothold there in Venezuela. For sure. So it looks like there's going to be an alliance between China, Turkey, Venezuela. Is going to be the new thing as the economic struggles for them continue. And those are all both very good strategic locations for China. China's new Silk Road initiative definitely relies on Turkey to be a part of that and help their commerce that they're looking to put into the EU and whatnot. So you just figure how long until the Venezuelan military has had enough of having to be bribed and oppressing their own people while this guy lives large and flies around the world eating with celebrity chefs, even if it's you could say that it's only a snapshot and people are taking it out of context, but this guy's got to know his days are numbered. You can't live like that and expect the masses to put up with it, even especially in places like that where they have a history of overthrowing dictators. Hey, Wes S is with us this evening, whatever. I need more coffee. Wes S, what's going on? If anybody didn't see, Wes S does a good survival video yesterday. How to eat bugs off your radiator. If I'm lying, I'm dying. he he don't preach it, he does it. Wes is all about the survival. Wes is doing stuff. Hey, Angel, what's up? You're on cue, man. I was just talking about the Miami Herald, how it seemed to be the only. It does seem to be a paper that will attack the socialists, unlike most American papers, just because of the Cuba connection there in South Florida. I was going to ask if you could confirm. Hey, ZPD, good morning. What's going on? Starting the workday with some yard cleanup. Yeah, you need to get those acorns out of there so those deer quit invading your space. That was an awesome video. ZPD walking in on some uninvited guest eating up all his acorns. We could just stream everybody's videos together and do live updates throughout the country to see what's going on the ground level. So you expecting protests in South Florida there, Angel, about the whole Venezuela thing? That should be interesting. Yeah, I would say that Maduro, unless he's propped up by China, which is very likely considering this new oil trade, that they're going to sack him and put him in a one-way ticket to some other country. It's where he can get refuge from the masses. Clark Art, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us from across there in Sweden. We have visitors from the EU every now and then. Be interested when we get into other articles. If you ever drop by the Swedish immigration refugee situation, comes up every now and then. How bad is it is always a topic. How much worse could it possibly get before people start pushing back against the insanity that their government's putting on them? But Clark, do you have videos that you do on those issues or anything, or if you do, let us know. I know that the EU rules, it's tough to do a lot of that stuff. Angel says they're crucifying the chef. You say leave the guy alone. I don't know. The guy seems pretty cozy with communist, Angel. I don't think I would give him a break. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Fractional Truth, welcome. Good morning. Thanks for checking in. Okay, Clark. Alicia drug you over here. Careful. She'll get you in trouble. But I understand the silencing of the videos and the whole censorship thing. It's beyond censorship. It's definitely suppression. But thanks for dropping in. We have Stefan Minkenberg that drops in occasionally from Germany, and a couple others. Hey, Walter Davis. Good morning. How you doing? A game show. How bad is it? Yeah, we're gonna go around the country here, everybody at their channel around the world, and we're gonna ask everybody how bad is it where you are. See if we can get everybody to do a 20-second clip on how bad it is where you are. It's so bad here in America that politicians can just spend endlessly and put us all in debt with nobody protesting and rioting in the streets, or worse. That's how bad it is here. Angel, Angel, I can't tell half the time how sarcastic you're being or how serious you're being. Angel says, let's crucify those that work for and provide services to world leaders and billionaires. Right? How far down the line do you go with that? Because that's pretty much all of us at some level, providing services. That's probably the sticking point, biggest sticking point of that, Angel, is that we're all tied in at some point. Well, those are the big highlights I wanted to cover this morning. Anybody else got anything nearby in their area that they wanted to bring up? Near and dear to your heart? Current event. Looks like Iowa's in for a doozy of weather today of Minnesota. Be on the lookout. Tornado watches, stuff like that. Oh, you're being dead serious. Okay, gotcha, Angel. But again, if you're being dead serious, it's like also how far down the line you go. Wes S is getting Spanish subtitles on some of your videos. Who's they? I guess, is that the infamous Google they are doing subtitles? I thought you had to choose to do subtitles on your videos. I didn't know that they could do it without you inserting them. So that where you just click on the video and choose pick subtitles and it pops up in Espanol? Alicia says they're pushing expanded Medicare in Utah. And you have Romney running. Is he going to be your next? He's running for senator, right? Yeah, you're going to be in bad shape if you get Romney as one of your representatives. Talk about a carpetbagger. I don't think you're going to be quite as bad as California, but it's definitely a step back. Truth Freeze with the nugget of knowledge here. Apple inputting data on new phone purchases to protect folks against theft, of course. So it will profile and keep for the future. What kind of data are they doing other than what they already get? I mean, they already get your address and, all your pertinent information, I guess you'd say, depending on if you buy with cash or not. Most people don't buy with cash, so they have your credit card information or bank information. How much more data do they want on new phone purchasers? Although most people are going with the whole facial recognition unlock screen on their Apples too. So Apple's got a ton of data that they're able to pull out of there. How much more could they possibly want? I mean, if they got your facial recognition and your thumbprint or fingerprint for those unlock features, they've pretty much got all they need, don't they? I guess they could get DNA. Is there a way to collect DNA from the phone purchasers? Oh, Wes. Yeah, Wes has got to deal with that Beto guy. Did you see his latest statement, Wes? He says that all AR-15 sales need to be banned. I don't know. How is he going to win in the state of Texas saying stuff like that? That's really a bad sign of the apocalypse right there. That didn't pop up on the Drudge, I don't think. I just saw that this morning, though. Where was that? Beto talking about banning AR-15 sales. Like, that's political suicide in Texas, you would think. But between Austin and Houston, I guess you could have the potential to get the votes you need still saying stuff like that. Wes, you put a video up on Beto O'Rourke and it was pulled down before it got a one view? Like you made the video yourself or you shared a video? That's pretty crazy that they got. I can't imagine what Wes would say. Wes never says anything bad about anybody. Yeah, I don't see that article though about him calling for AR-15 bans here on Drudge. I can't remember where I saw it. But that's quite the bold statement. Yeah, truth. China's facial recognition is definitely going into overdrive. It can process like what, 5 million images a second or something crazy. Their facial recognition software, as it can scan a crowd of tens of thousands. A lot of that stuff gets tested out here in the Super Bowl and stuff like that. Large crowd events like that, they test that stuff out. It looks like the observatory mystery situation is still hitting the radar here. This will be, I'll close out with this article. I know the speculation over this has been deep, as there's been no news, and the FBI says it's just an investigation, which is even more bizarre. They came out after the fact saying that there was an incident and that they were going to prosecute somebody, but they didn't handle it like a criminal prosecution because you don't clear a crime scene and just let people take whatever. They would have closed it off, roped it off, and told everybody to leave. But everybody was packing their stuff, so lots of stuff could have walked out with it. So Otero County Sheriff told ABC 7's News he was infuriated by the way the FBI handled the sudden mysterious closure. Well, I'd hope so, because he got wrapped up in it. We might have a few good sheriffs left. They even put this in the paper. It's a chicken shit way the FBI handled it. I have a responsibility to protect my citizens. I think it's paramount that we know what the threat is so we can provide safety. Yeah, he's going after. That's awesome. And all the conspiracy theory around the whole thing doesn't help anybody. When we had the incident at the International Space Station, kind of wrapped into this a little bit, there's speculation too that the observatory documented what happened at the International Space Station, and that somehow those images got out from this observatory through the mail, and there's obviously speculation that that's what all that was tied to, but so yeah, the FBI said it was a precautionary measure while the FBI investigated suspected criminal activity, but yet they allowed people to take and clear out the observatory. Doesn't sound like criminal activity to me. Sounds like a erasure job. FBI said that during they became concerned that a suspect in the investigation potentially posed a threat to the safety of local staff and residents, but they didn't tell the sheriff anything about it. So they temporarily vacated the facility and ceased science activities at the location. The decision to vacate was based upon the logistical challenges associated with protecting personnel at such a remote location. But they could have asked the sheriff for assistance. That's what mutual aid's for. Yeah, the FBI is tiptoeing around this whole thing, and the sheriff's definitely good to respond back. If there's just somebody that's so dangerous and the sheriff's left out of the situation, he definitely should be raising Cain. Good on him. Sheriff House told the news, ABC 7, he had not seen the news release until a reporter showed it to him. He's demanding answers. Is there a bomb threat, active shooter threat, chemical? He wants to know as well, because it obviously could impact all the citizens around the area. They've asked the FBI and they will not tell us anything. Yeah, that's shady stuff. Your federal government is not working for you, but against you. Further evidence and proof. So we'll close out with that motivating story of the day, for lack of a better transition. But I don't know. That sheriff may not let that die. That might not go away very quickly. Of course, he might get voted out too if the feds put enough money into somebody running against him. All right. Got to see what's going on in the side chat before we close out. Got to run. See you later, Phil. See you later. ZPD's going to D.C. Going to Washington, D.C. for the first time next month. Oh, good luck with that, ZPD. Oh, goodness. Yeah. See the sights and get out while you still can. Are you planning on is that what you're going for? Is it a visit to see things, or is it a work related thing? That would be rough to have to go to work in the area. Yeah, I know, Wes. It's hard to believe that a three-letter agency would be so cowardly, right? Hard to believe. All right, ZPD, it'll be fun if you say so. Hey, Clark Art, thanks for checking in. You're going back to sleep, I guess. Is it? Yeah, I guess it's that time of day there at night, huh? Middle of the sleep cycle. Thanks for checking in. Hey, Barry Wood, good morning. Slid in here on the down low. The Space Force. Yeah, you would think that the Space Force would come in and take care of an observatory like that, right? Why didn't they bring them in to secure the area instead of the FBI? Space Force has to have some mission, right? So might as well make one up. Make one up and give them a mission without justification. It's always what the federal government does anyway. All right, we're going to roll out of here, folks. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for dropping by. We'll see you back here Friday morning. Same bat time, same bat channel, all that good stuff. So y'all go have a good midweek day. Live free.